both wastewater and water supply, there are questions, again, that have to be answered. These are not just questions. These are people's health and impact. These are the water wells people drink out of, water they're stocked from. And this is why it's so important to spend the time necessary to cover this. The EIR said the project will not discharge wastewater, but as identified by geologist Jeff Light, the analysis did not address the potential for leaching from the overburden stockpiles. The analysis that was done, again in Mr. Light's opinion, was not up to industry standards. We believe it must be. With regard to water supply, we've heard from the applicant that this draws from deeper wells than the ranchers, the neighbors use. My understanding would be water runs downhill, so if you draw from the deeper wells, the upper wells may be affected. And the tests that were necessary to clarify that they won't be, or establish by factual evidence that they won't be, as we understand from Mr. Light, were not done. So again, a level of investigation that is not up to industry standards, questions about the effects that are being left to hope that there won't be serious impacts. There are other areas which I'll not detail, I'll spare for now, because we did set them forth in our letters regarding biological resources, cultural resources, the county general plan inconsistency, and other areas. But what I wanted to talk about is the alternatives that are feasible and would accomplish the objectives as set forth in the EIR, perhaps better than this project. One that we've heard and you've heard speak of is the Jackson Valley Quarry, a hard rock mine that's been operational for 75 years. They're looking to expand. They've had an EIR prepared, gone to the Planning Commission, and we don't know where that has ended up. All we know is it's not moving as fast as this one. But what the response to that has been is it's too small, or it's an area with a lot of its own impacts. The assertion that it's too small presupposes that there is some level, some objective of, say, 5 million tons per year, which is this applicant's objective. But in the EIR, the objective for this quarry is merely to, or I shouldn't say merely, but it is to meet the market demand for aggregate. Well, what's the market demand? The figures that we've obtained from industry publications show that the market demand would be met already by Jackson Valley, the quarry in operation or its expansion. And so to bring this online could very well flood the market and bring the whole market, various other quarries, down. That's the sort of level of business plan and economic analysis that we believe is lacking. And it's not.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you inferring that the market is only that market which exists within Amador County?
I do not, sir. I recognize that they do have a regional ambition.
But when you refer to the market could be met, is that what you're saying, that the Amador County consumptive market could be met with existing production?
Yes, as I understand it.
Thank you.
The statewide market, there's no showing that I know of in the documents to show where that demand would be or how it's not being met. So the expansion of Jackson Valley Quarry could meet that market demand, could achieve that objective, and therefore we assert it's a feasible alternative. Another alternative we've brought up, well, before addressing that, let me point out that the EIR talks about alternatives for the Edwin Center, but not necessarily for alternative locations for the quarry. So there are alternative designs for the Edwin Center part, but not for the quarry operations, and that is a weakness in the EIR that should have been addressed. There's another alternative, not quarrying, but open space and recreation acquisition for conservation that we've identified as a real possibility in this context where the Nature Conservancy has already acquired land in the area. There is strong interest. This is something that could be explored. We don't have the information, the response goes, but that's information that should be obtained. So in making this decision, the EIR is one thing, the sufficiency of it, the adequacy. Another question is about this statement of overriding considerations. Even if you have an EIR that is completely adequate and addresses everything, it's another question about whether you will make the findings to adopt a statement of overriding considerations. This is a two-step process. One, a finding that all alternatives and mitigation measures are infeasible. The second step is that the benefits outweigh the impacts of the project. We've talked about the mitigation measures, the alternatives that might be feasible, and therefore undercut the ability to make that first finding. With regard to the benefits outweighing the project, the benefits are assertions of job creation, economic activity, revenue generation. And in this context, I believe it's relevant to examine the track record of the applicant. It's not a mining industry track record, and where there have been proposals, they've been in places like Sutter Creek, where the neighbors have sued. There have been proposals like the motocross racetrack proposal that's pending before the Planning Commission at this moment. So this is a track record that should be examined when you hear assurances about how much will be done for the county and how that will outweigh the risks and the costs that are being imposed on the county and its people. So I'd like to conclude here so that you might, I hope, consider the comments of Colonel Fraser West. Before I ask Colonel West to come up, I'd just like to underscore that the Ione Valley is a home to many people, many ranchers, many people who are just living their lives and are asking you to help them protect that, to back them up in their objections and to deny this project outright or make sure that the environmental documents and the analysis and the protection is there in place if it is to be approved. So let me turn to one of those people, Colonel Fraser West, a decorated World War II combat veteran of the United States Marine Corps and a rancher who, like other ranchers, although more impacted than most, has his concerns about the air and the water and what this quarry would do. So if there are questions,
you have any questions, Mr. Parsons? No.
I appreciate your time. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman. Colonel West?